All right, everyone. Here we have the basic warm-up. So we're going to start with some breathing and bracing. Going to try to push our breath down to our diaphragm. The video is kind of light, you can't really see it, but a lot of diaphragmatic breathing, and stay away from taking big breaths through your chest like that. So smooth in through your stomach, out through your stomach. Try to focus on originating the breath from down there in your diaphragm, similar to yoga, or if you ever played an instrument in band or you're singing. Now we're going to work on bracing. You're going to plant your thumbs to the back side there, your hands right up front. You're going to work on engaging your abdominal wall so that your core pushes out against your fingertips and your thumb tips. At the same time, you're going to try to take some breaths. So now I turned around sideways for you, and even in the back so you can see where you place your thumbs. Deep breaths. If you have trouble finding that breath down in the lower part of your belly or in your diaphragm, you can try lying down on your back. Sometimes it's easier, and even sometimes it sounds funny lying down on your stomach. Now we're going to move on to some simple neck mobility. Here we want to take our time. If you find any soreness, or I would say soreness or stretching is okay, but we don't want to cause any pain through here, so you might need to limit your range of motion. We're going to try to take it through all the natural ranges that your neck can go. So we have forward, backward, side to side. Going to do some tilting. Again, don't force the range of motion, especially if you're not accustomed to these kind of movements, but just do your best to take your time. Here we're going to tuck our chin forward and backward. So we're going to glide just a little bit forward and backward. And this next one coming up side to side is going to be super difficult. It's not that easy, but it's a lot of good range of motion stuff for your neck, and you can even try to go in circles. Even I'm working on that one. It's good for you. Now moving right into shoulder and scapular mobility. So scapula is just a fancy word for your shoulder blade. And here what we want to do is try to move the shoulder through some range of motion without letting the big motion, see that elbow going? We don't want that to happen. Just let your shoulder do the rotating forward and rotating backwards for you. You can put them together, you can put them opposites, you can make them go the same direction. Feels really good. It's going to loosen up your connection. And basically this whole warm-up is just trying to tell your body, all right, body, we're about to do some moving. So it's super exciting. Some of these movements are going to feel very foreign to you, and I promise after doing them for a few days in a row, maybe 5 or 6 days into the workout, you're going to feel really, really good about it. So here we're doing some protraction and retraction. So I'm squeezing my shoulder blades together, then I'm spreading them apart as far as I can. This is great to get all those little muscles around your rhomboids and your traps all really involved. And then we're doing elevation and depression, which is up and then back, neutral, and then down. And now we've got some downward rotation. So there we elevated again, I'm sorry. Now we're downward rotating and upward rotating. Again, simple movements just to prepare your body and let her know, or him know, that, hey, it's about to start working. Protraction, retraction. Again, we don't want to use our big arms to do that motion. We want to try to let the little muscles take over there. Now we're going to move on to the skinny PVC pipe. It's something we use in my CrossFit blocks all the time. Very good tool. You can use a broomstick. It doesn't have to be a PVC pipe, though they're relatively inexpensive. Here what I want you to work on doing is keeping your arms as straight as you can, trying to shrug up at the top of the motion and slowly let your shoulder go through this range of motion. If you are not warmed up and you are not accustomed to these movements, you're going to take your time and pay attention. If you don't get all the way around on your first time, that's perfectly okay. So these are passing around, slow and smooth. Does a good job of warming up. Notice that bottom hand's going to try to stay, when we're going around the block, you're going to try to keep it in the same position, not let it move all out of whack. Again, see, bend the arms. You don't want to really do it too fast like that. You want to take your time. Now you're going to position it almost where you would for a typical back squat, or right across your traps. Those are your shrug muscles. We don't want to go too down low. We don't want to go too high. Right on that meaty part, and then you're just going to twist. What I want you to notice is make sure that your knee goes, your foot goes, and so does your hips. Right? We're going to twist through there to encourage that range of motion all through our back. This feels good. Sometimes this might be even worth your weight in gold here. Try not to limit the twist. Get big twisting, nice and easy. Again, we're not looking for pain. We're going to not move towards pain if any of this hurts. Now, hip hinge. One of the most important exercises a human body can learn how to do. It requires activation of your core, requires hinging and flexing your hips while keeping your body in a nice, straight, good alignment, and then engaging your glutes and standing up nice and straight. Core tight, butt tight. That's what I'm showing you there. Now, if you don't have a mirror and you're not sure if you're hitting this position correctly, what we can do is you're going to grab the PVC pipe as shown right behind your head. There should be contact right between your shoulder blades and right there in between your butt cheeks at the top of your booty. We're going to make 3 points of contact, and you're going to hinge forward and maintain that contact at all 3 points, and that'll let you know you're hinging right. If you watch me here, I think I'm going to flex my spine, and it's going to come off just a little bit. If I do it improperly here in a second, you'll see what I'm talking about, that bottom point. This is a fairly common mistake right there. So there he's only got 2 points of contact. You want to make sure you're hinging with all 3 points. I fixed it. Boom. Then you're in business. Fantastic. Now we're going to move on to some wrist prep. Now this is great for everyday mobility, but also, anytime we spend some time doing push-ups or some wall walks or any of the crawling, you want to make sure you wake your wrists up and let them know you're going to move. So here I'm keeping my arms pretty straight, and I've externally rotated them about as far as I can. And it doesn't matter how far you go, it matters that you feel a really good stretch. Then we're going to go internal rotation, trying to keep that left arm of mine straight. It's a challenge for me. That's why I'm looking at it. So straighten that sucker up, feel a good stretch. And then we're going to move to this nice little movement. All we're going to do here is spread our fingers out really wide, lift your thumbs off, and then try to position or lift forward right over top. And you're coming up and resting right on your underside of your knuckle there, those little pads. Here's a nice little side view for you. Super simple, does not take much. Try to keep your arms straight. And the more you do this, when your flexibility will increase a lot. This is particularly important when we're doing a lot of work on overhead work or standing or going the crow position. Here's a difficult one too. Be careful here. You're just going to take it to a little past comfort. We don't want to injure ourselves. We don't want to hurt anything. We're keeping your arms straight. This is to get them running through motion. Feels good on our wrists. Now we're moving into cat and cow. If you're familiar with yoga, what this is going to do is we're going to really focus on mobilizing your back, right? We're going to show you how mobile we can get your back, and the next exercise will show you how stable we can get it. So all I'm doing is I'm pretending that my hips are a cup, and right now I'm dumping that cup out forward as I tip, and then I'm going to dump it out backwards as I round my back up. Right? Just slow and smooth. Take your time. Keep your arms straight. Try to keep your wrists located underneath your shoulders and your knees underneath your hips. And don't rush this one. This one's one you can do every single day. Now bird dogs, because it looks like a bird dog. So what we want to see here is a nice straight line from both, and picking them up and putting them down, your opposite limbs, at the same time. So this contralateral movement timing will come in later when we're crawling. Very smooth, very easy. Some more cat and cow. So what we did was we stabilized and then we mobilized. Now we're moving into some up dog and down dog. First off, upward facing dog. Just relax your hips down. I'm not a yogi. Don't try to fight your body. From here, what we're working on is getting a straight line from your hips to your hands. That's step one. I want to maintain a flat lower back. You can see I'm working it out right now. And my first objective is that straight line from my hips to my wrists, not my legs being straight. Eventually, as you get more warmed up, or some of you may be able to do it off the bat, but it might require a bit of warming up. So you're going to go through these two postures, no more than 5 or 10 seconds hold in between, and just take your time. Try to find your breath. Try to work that straight. Let your head hang low and comfortably. Nice and smooth through these two postures. From here, we're going to do a lying hip extension and then a variation on that cat and cow, actually. So from here, I'm pushing my hips way up in the air, and then I'm lowering until only my upper booty touches the ground. That's why you see my back arching. It's kind of hard with my shirt on. And now I'm going to roll my spine down. So I'm changing my hip angle each time I thrust. Completely different motion, right? So I come all the way up. When I thrust here, I'm going to try to keep that arch in my back. Notice I'm going to move this shirt out of the way, I think, so you can see it a little bit, so that it stays off the ground big time. Much arch as I can get. Then I'm going to thrust my hips up from there, and I'm going to lower each vertebrae one at a time, slowly rolling down until the top of my butt touches. Great exercise for spine control. And we're going to move on to our last one. It's going to work on our hips out a little bit and work on our hip flexors just a bit. So I've got one leg crossed in front of me, then I've got the other one pointed straight out behind me. This is from yoga called pigeon pose. Our biggest goal here is to stretch, let gravity do the work. It's a passive motion. And you want to try to lift up if you need to, and look at the angle of my leg. If you want to tuck it in there because we're having trouble, you can tuck it in, it'll make it easier. And then I'm showing there, keep your hips square. That's one of the most important parts. You'll feel it stretch. If you need more, you can lie down over top of it like so. And of course, we're going to switch legs. You go 30 to 40 seconds per leg. I think that's going to wrap up the warm-up for us. Yep, with that, move on to your first WOD, guys. Good job.